Good evening, Free Enterprise. I almost said Randomania there. Good evening, Free Enterprise. Welcome back to the Highway to the Zemus Zone 4 here. And we're here between round one match between Xenocat and Harumph today. I'm Night Dew. With me in the booth here today is Stoppable Force. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Just excited to see a yet another round one match kicking off right here, kind of right here in the middle of the bracket. This is going to be a real good one, I think.
And I believe Harumph is trying to summon Asuka or give away a little bit of the strategy that I believe Harumph looks like he's going to fade the Twin Harp. Just a little guess here.
Yeah, just an inkling of a feeling that Harumph does not want to go into Cave Magnus. Hopefully, that's not a required objective today.
Hopefully not here. Do you have any idea? I am not exactly. I do not have Xenocat's naming scheme in my head here. I'm not sure what it is. Any idea on that?
I have no idea. I would assume it's something Xenogears related, but I do not know for sure.
It might be another one here, but anyway, we do have our two objectives other than the three normal ones. We do have complete sealed case. We need a Luca key, and we need the bosses of Dwarf Castle, which isn't bad. And up there is honestly one of my favorite Rydia sprites there. I believe that's the Terra Rydia there. So we have Rydia Hero. So big thing is going to be exactly who we start out with and who our running partner is here in terms of what their loot is. But if I had to make an inkling of a guess here, you're going to want something like a Leviathan Orb or something like that, and your best shot at that is generally either at the Watery Pass or Evelyn Castle, so I would assume we're probably going to get some dashes in those directions to start.
Yeah, one of those right off the bat would be really great. Maybe they'll even get one from the King here, but worst case scenario, they'll probably be able to get one from Evelyn Castle, or Evelyn Cave, excuse me. Oh, there's a Darkness Crystal right off the bat, and a friendly old man to help Rydia on her way.
Wow, that is a Darkness Crystal, a friendly old man, and a subtle hint that, hey, as soon as you get ordeals done, D-Money is available from the word go.
Yeah, fans of the D Machine grind, this is the seed for you. We have a Tella and a Darkness Crystal to get the Giant of the Babel right off the bat.
And a character that usually you want to slingshot, although that's not going to be possible with Rydia as the hero here, but maybe you can grab another mage or two if they happen to show up here. But let's go see where they end up running first here.
It's like Harumph is going to crush Basidia with his airship, and then probably, I think both of them want to go see who that free moon character is, I'm guessing. Maybe a check into Cave Bahamut for some information, but unless it's really, really free, I don't think we'll take it yet.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'd have to be, King, Queen, Evelyn there, pretty much, is about the only thing I can see them taking.
Yes, it would have to be pretty much exactly King, Queen, Evelyn.
But I do agree with going down there, especially, and one of the things is that your Cave Bahamut loot is actually, again, gated behind a key item and on the moon as well. There are some very nice things you can get out of those four chests in Cave Bahamut. A few of them a little bit out of the way, but I mean, you have nothing to your name right now because you have an immediate Darkness Crystal. Why not crack those guys open?
Yeah, it would be a nice immediate boost of MP for Rydia, who, even if you find something, like if you find a Leviathan or you find a Sylph right now, she still has very little MP at this level. You have to get your Rydia off the ground before she can start flying.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's going to be to a point where, I mean, usually you want to just kind of see if you can get that Hobbs boss down as soon as possible, even though even a missed cave at that point, or even an antlion cave will get her a little bit to get off ground, but not enough for that Leviathan, unfortunately, unless you go to Hobbs first.
Yep, so now let's get a peek at the Lunar Dais. Not often we get to look at this 2 minutes and 20-something seconds into the seed. And it's a Rosa.
It is a Rosa, which is absolutely wonderful news here. If you're looking for reflect strats, which I'm guessing these two runners may be already slightly leaning towards here, but Rosa is one of those characters where it's nearly impossible to say no, and why would you?
Yeah, I personally believe Rosa might be one of the best characters in Free Enterprise, just from she's so versatile. She can carry your team with healing. She can be a physical DPS. She's going to be a huge help to this party to lift this old man and young girl up to fighting levels. We see both our runners are checking Cape Bahamut now. Xenocat actually looting the place.
Yep.
Which makes sense. You've got exit, so why not? And loot up here is pretty good.
Yep.
And maybe we'll get a sense of who that boss is.
Oh yeah, you really just kind of don't want it to be the Lunar Sparkle because you kind of want to you definitely want to kind of keep that Tiara and Aegis shield and the Sorcerer Hero. Wow, K value paying out mute arrows. That's a pretty solid K Bahamut stack right there, and we see some percentage of leg. It's either 100% leg or 25% leg, but it is either Ruby or Elements there, which isn't honestly terrible if it's Ruby because you kind of want him there because you just want to. He's got next to no magic power there, so you're free to if we can come up with a Berserker or two, especially with an Ice Brand or not. At that point, it's pretty free, honestly.
Yeah, the only thing to watch for with Ruby is those punches between the punches when he has his cape closed with her, but the magic just kind of tickles there outside of the glare. And honestly, you get enough levels, even the glare at that spot is survivable.
Yeah, now the Elements proper does punch a little bit harder, so it's because it goes to physicals far more often here. But here we go. Here's the versions. One of them going to Watery Pass, one of them going to Eblin Castle. Both of them looking for that value in maybe a high order summon, or even at this point, you got a Rosa, so Heroine Robes or anything like that would also be great to have here.
Yeah, found a samurai bow over on harumph side and a dragon whip. So if you find anything like a heroine robe, we've got a couple people who can do some DPS. Over on Xenocat's side, that's a trap chest, so that's a reset. But just before we went black, saw an Asura orb for Rydia. That can 66% of the time it makes her a capable healer.
Yeah, good hit, honestly. Ooh, Ninja Sword too there. But yeah, good hit most of the time. A little less value with that Rosa already in the party, unless we do find a physical DPS Rosa setup, which is totally possible here. And Heroine Robes might be in shops here. Does hit the second monster in a box, and a pot there is set back to reset one more time as Rump does go for the back four chests here, looking for some kind of value. Does get a Poison Claw. Gonna see what else is over here.
Flame whip and fire arrows. So there's a samurai fire arrow setup if you find, say, maybe a Mylon Z who's kind of flammable in the early game.
Yep, and Rydia's two biggest physical whips there. They do have agility and strength bonuses on them. And if you approach something again with that fire weakness, that flame whip and or that dragon whip can do respectable damage even here at level 1.
Yeah, looks like we're going with the dragon whip on Rydia, and I'm guessing a samurai bow setup. Oh, mute arrows that I did not see get picked up on Rosa. So
Yeah, the mute arrows were in Cape Bahamut actually. Again, you don't have to worry about losing those too much, as mute arrows are probably for sale somewhere in the overworld here.
Yep, Xenocat picking up some of the same gear. Harumph on his way down to Shish Kebab, whatever's at the bottom of out of Antland Cave. That's where we are. There's more mute arrows if you went back to the second room of the Watery Pass. So now both our runners are equipped for mage-type bosses.
Oh, and immediately we find some extra bonus value because here's Demas already.
You love to find a nice early D-Mist like this. So out of this nice easy check, our runners are looking at 2 key items here because with no free key items on, Edward and Troya handing you a key item is replaced with Rydia's mom's corpse in Mist Village, handing you an item.
Yep, and the sadness you heard from chat at least there is Xenocat did take a peek at the Watery Pass and the boss slot, and unfortunately for the viewers, the Alt Gauntlet is off the board as it's in the waterway.
Oh, so no chance of a required all gauntlet at Ogopogos for us. So, but Harum finds the magma key, so there's underground access already. This seed's zooming right along. 8 minutes in, and every map is now open.
So, if you liked wide open spaces here, we have technically we have two objectives completable at this time, with Cape Bahamut and the Dwarf Castle. Although I do not believe they have the power to do either one of them here. Xenocat actually says we do have Iridia here. I haven't found any big summons for her, but we do have a inside shot here at the Hobbs flag here. So Iridia is going to get a summon from that there, as we do also see Harumph checking the Demist item, and it is interesting.
Yeah, it'll be at least a decent set of gear. Inside of Hobbs giving the Mage summon, which is kind of underwhelming.
Kind
Better
of
than-
underwhelming, yeah.
Better than what she starts with, maybe. This also will let Xenocat run up and loot the backside, and then possibly just continue on to see who that boss is, and maybe pick up a fourth character.
Yeah, Mage does have some niche uses here. Mostly if you have bosses, don't use the boss, but yet another Asura Orb on back Hobbs there.
Reminding Xenocat to just go ahead and pop one of them. Alright, Harumph throwing that key straight down the well, gonna head underground. Guessing we'll probably go ahead and see one of those sirens get popped for a summon an egg with a dragon inside.
Yeah, I might wait just a smidge here. We have Hobbs and Baron N characters here, and that's a duplicate Tella, unfortunately, and an Evil Wall, which is also a reset.
You're never sad to see the Evil Wall out of the pool, but kind of unfortunate that that's another Tella.
Yeah, but I might try to keep a Siren in my pocket just for a little while longer, especially like if Baron N has a Palom or somebody else that gets a lot of value off of that opening key item there. Although this group does have to finish off ordeals for Tella to get his real ultimate power here soon.
Yeah, they have the old man who can summon a grand for you, but he's got to get through 3 bosses first, and still a little underpowered at this point. Harumph heading down, looting the Fey March, going to get another freebie. Always checking freebies, they say, and maybe give us a peek at those 2 bosses down there. While again, there is a chance that Queen Edla could be hiding down here, and that's just free XP.
Yep, did find a silent stick and a long ninja sword there, so decent loot here, and is going to be cutting his losses. Up does take one more chest there. Not afraid of the warriors, or maybe a little bit, but
just pushing his luck a little bit, and gets rewarded for it mostly. Xenocat, they are now up against the Demist on their side. I'm guessing it won't take much longer than it did for Harumph.
Very doubtful. Just kind of really going to take a little bit of attention to what still keeps getting looted down here.
There's
possibly
the pan.
Well,
now that is a good reason to check your freebies. Now Harumph is going to be able to get the single dip into Fabul after setting up to wake Yang up, and there's a Leviathan orb for sale in the Fey March item shop. So gonna sell a little bit of everything to get that.
Yep. No reason to keep some of this stuff. I kept one of those long swords with the possibility of edge still around there. Unfortunately, don't try to buy 10 of them. That doesn't seem to work here, but all she needs is one.
Yeah, kind of glad you don't have kind of glad Harumph didn't have the 400,000 gil to accidentally waste there. That would have felt bad. Also, after doing a little searching between commentary, Xenocat's naming scheme is from Valkyrie Profile.
Oh, interesting. I would have to actually, man, I'm surprised I missed that actually here.
I think it was the name for his Cecil is a character from Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria, which I personally never played. But...
Oh, I think I know. I think it's some of the, and here we are. Anyway, we see 2 bosses in that Fey March that we are never coming back to see ever, ever, ever again.
Two bosses. They can just sit down there and enjoy their little kingdom under the ground. Kainatsu at Asura and Dark Knight Cecil at Leviathan. No, thank you.
Yeah, those two sitting down there having a drink, pretty confident that they are not going to be disturbed here, and I don't blame them for thinking that. Oh my, harumph getting really paid out of those first two chests in Sylvan Cave. A little bit dangerous to check. You might have to reload a save, but that was a Stardust Rod.
All right, so that is a Stardust Rod, a Sorcerer Robe, and a Tiara that our runners have already found for their Rydia. She is one decked out hero. Like
Yeah, for
at,
those of us counting, that's plus 30 wisdom right there.
at this point, even if they get the Mist Whip from Kakol, Rydia just kind of looks at it and goes, "Eh."
Here you go, Tella.
Yeah, the Stardust Rod becomes a hand me down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Harumph setting up, waking up Yang with the pan. So now any trip to Fabul will yield up to 3 key items.
Speaking of real awesome caster gear, hey, that was a life staff from the stills there.
Yeah, the Sylph's not rewarding a key item this on these flag sets, but they're doing their best. They're giving you the highlight of White Mage staves.
Oh yeah, and even then, it's halfway good to bonk with. Even maybe not silent staff territory, or at least not with the mage killing type there. But yeah, definitely these runners are not wanting for weapons that their characters can actually use.
No, the gear is flowing pretty good. Not a lot for characters that aren't actually in the party, and all heavy hitters, Stardust Rods and Life Staves, and Rydia's best gear. Xenocat diving underground. Harumph going to give us a look at who is invading Fabul today. And it's King Queen Evelyn.
Well, we couldn't put all the hard bosses away on lunch here. We need somebody to hold down the fort, and yeah, just leaving this KQE down there at Evelyn is yeah, you're not getting all freebies. Let's be real here.
Yeah, this will get cleared out of the way. Makes this Fabul check nice and quick for the runners. As a runner, you obviously probably want to see this somewhere harder, but this just means that there's some very tough bosses in the pool for us to watch.
I said in chat, oh, there's heroin ropes. I believe that was the Tamra shop there, so heroin is available. But yeah, see in chat, a little quote there. Welcome to game one of your brackets. Here's Underworld, here's Moon, here's full access to the entire seed. Have fun, kids!
There's the tower key from King of Fabul, and Harumph will almost certainly head over and see the 2 items that Sheila's hanging out too, just to completely clear this place out.
And also, we do have validation there. Jobdorf was checked. Jobdorf is a surgeon today.
Wow. Can't imagine he gets a lot of business back there in the back room in Tamra, but you do you.
Meanwhile,
Right.
Sheila would like to ask us if we have any character checks we'd like to make.
That is the package for 1 potential character and the Earth Crystal for 2 more. So Harumph now fully equipped to fill this party out, probably, unless it's more duplicates.
The silly thing actually is with all the good gear they already have here. Yes, do we want to rate that treasury? Yeah, we kind of still do for characters not in our party, but we're pretty well, like, we're fairly set on the ones we do have already.
Yeah, I think that not checking the treasury on this seed is a perfectly reasonable move. But I might want to see who I get from Zot first, because if it's another mage, we already have some of the gear for them right here.
Oh yeah, absolutely here, and I mean, to be fair, you're possibly not getting rid of any of these 3. Tella, because he obviously has the grind potential already right in front of him. But the other 2, I mean, Rydia is your hero, and Rosa is Rosa, so Yeah, it's just this case. What do you want to fill the rest of your party out with? Do you want the twins just to go full blown reflect on everything, or do you want a little bit of physical power with, say, an Edge or a Cecil here?
Yeah, or maybe you even want a character that you know will be have a boatload of hit points at the end to serve as a chemist. Maybe someone like a Yang, who is also good slingshot material.
Yep.
We're heading up Ordeals on Harumph's side to get our old man powered up, and the first boss is Wyvern. So here's an objective right here, Mount Ordeals. Opening with a heat ray. Oof.
Oh my. Well.
Wyvern opening up by blasting this party for most of its HP.
Meanwhile, Riddy going for that Dragon Whip. We're just going to try to physical him away here, but yeah, that's definitely an interesting little Wyvern learning from the Red Dragons up on the moon there. Says, hey, this is a pretty fun move. Mind if I try it out?
That was surprisingly nasty considering where our runners are running into it here. Might want to stop and heal up, but that's an objective lit up. So.
Yep, Harumph did find a little bit of camping, I believe. I want to say in Fabul there does have tents and cabins ready to go here, so not a problem here. Question is if we do get a rude spot over here on the back attack side here.
Yeah, something like a Valve Atlas here would be extremely rude. And you are correct from picking up sporting goods from Fabul. And here's an Odin in the back attack spot. I wonder if we'll get to see the Zantetsuken around the world, or if we're just going to summon a water snake and kill him.
I would say, unfortunately, I believe Harumph still does have that Dragon Whip equipped, so which means this Leviathan is faster to get away, but I don't know if it's going to do the 3,000 necessary up to 2,300, but the other two should pick this up pretty easily.
Yeah, there we go. No, didn't even get the sword raised for Odin. And then last but not least, we'll have to see what fight Rydia gets to do by herself today. That Leviathan is still putting out some power despite having a Dragon Whip, so I can't imagine there's anything that Harumph fears in here. And as we know, the Alt Gauntlet, which would be probably the most tedious option, is not here today.
Now, one thing I have found on practice seeds there is when at least I took a Sea Hero into the Alt Gauntlet at this room here, I believe I got a full heal between every fight.
Yes, you do. It's one of the few things that can make an Alt Gauntlet with Tella doable in this spot. So there's another Sorcerer Robe. No key item, but more wonderful top-end mage gear. And apparently, and here's Antlion, not on the moon at all.
Yeah, with all these Antlions I have been seeing as of late, not on the moon, I'm just thinking he was vacationing there for a little bit. I am unconvinced he lives on the moon anymore.
I think he got tired of us all joking about him being on the moon and just decided to show us all by showing up in mirror rooms and Mount Hobbses everywhere.
But still never in his vanilla spot, because he apparently does not like it there.
Can you blame him?
Not at all.
It's literally a hole in the ground. Xenocat finishing up the fight against King Queen Evelyn and Fabul. Yep, I'm assuming, they have the pain as well, so they'll be getting their Sheila checks too. Picking up their suite of party filling out accessories, and Harumph with his fully powered old man now heading down Mount Ordeals.
Yeah, I do have a question for you here. In your opinion right now, assuming Harumph goes and checks this package first, who do you stick around for on this package?
That's a tough one. The package is very slow, so it's going to have to be somebody high impact. I honestly don't even know if I check the package at this point. I think I go up Zot instead, because I don't know if there's a whole lot of characters that I would want to sit through the package cutscene for at this point. Dathis is saying a Cecil or an Edge or one of the twins, and I think that's probably about it. An Edge probably more so than a Cecil, which feels weird to say. Cecil's cover strats would be nice for this party against some of the physically punchier bosses, but we haven't really found a lot of good gear for him yet, whereas we do have a variety of ninja gear that we could use on our Edge. So I would say maybe an Edge or a Palom would probably be my top picks.
Yeah, the only reason I would actually hang around for a check like, a check like this is just because I can check it real fast and I can reset right out of it.
Yeah, that's true. You can at least poke your head in and see who you're dealing with. Whereas Zot is a little bit more of a commitment. It is a key item check, but you do have to go through 2 bosses and a cutscene to get there. So.
But anyway, I believe it is time for one of our favorite games of free enterprise here. I believe we are in Rate That Treasury territory here.
Oh, good. I thought, Middle Charm, some more Sirens. This is a very mediocre treasury.
Siren's not bad there. Another Tiara, don't need that. I mean, it's good. A second Ninja Sword, so Edge is ready to go if we find him.
And greetings to our raiders from Randomania, where X Pancras versus Stupid Sexy Flanders has just finished. Do not spoil that race for anyone here, or you will get the bonk. I'm sure both our runners put on a great show.
Yeah, we've got caster gear for days, even before that treasury. That tiara is the second one, so I mean, Rosa will take it because it is a very nicely defensive piece of headgear here, but the person who already wants it already has it.
We've just got extra crowns to go around in this party, so I'm this definitely just increases the chances of me wanting to fill this party out with mages. Just give me all the mages you can.
2 mages, and here's the other thing, real quick, is both of them beelined this Zot play, and neither of them have checked that Baron in yet.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that no one's at least looked in there, but it may be that they're just hoping they can find 2 more slots up here and just finish out their party and maybe go do their grind very early and then blow the seed up with nukes.
Yeah, we do have a Flame Dog, and real quick, the Witch Burn today was Heat Ray.
Yes, a Wyvern opening with Heat Ray in spot 1 turns out to do more damage than you would think. Was that another Sorcerer Robe?
Yep, that's 3 for us of those who are checking.
We're just going to be able to put all of our mages in one, and why not? It is a beautiful piece of in-game gear.
At this point, even Tella gets a Sorcerer Robe.
They're just somebody raided Fusoya's closet and just took all his spare Sorcerer Robes, apparently.
That's why he didn't have anything to wear during the Lollyho League.
Yeah, he's using the Fuwario flag set on the Free Enterprise ladder to find himself some replacement robes. We have a Mylon Z here, not a terribly threatening boss, although it can't even knock over Tella in one punch here. Harumph outfitting even his Tella in a Sorcerer Robe because, well, why not?
It's there, why not? Yes.
Looks like the stream froze for a second on Xenocat's side, and then Mylon Z blew up, which sounds just about right.
Yeah, that's, I mean, there was one thing to be said there. Doesn't know if he's going to save between this one or not here.
Yeah, it looks like opting to. Xenocat's Tella is slightly less useful in this fight because Xenocat has faded ordeals so far, so not going to be contributing as much, whereas Harumph's has access to Fire 3. And Tella may be an old man with less than impressive casting stats, but Fire 3 onto someone who's weak is still going to do a very good chunk of damage.
You know, with that Charm Rod and that Sorcerer Robe, that's still a 15. That's still a Stardust Rod worth of magic power going into this Fire 3. So gonna do some pretty good damage. And hey, you wanted more casters? We found more casters.
If I'm one of our runners, I definitely wanted more casters. Yeah, it is looking like Reflect Stats ahoy here. So show me either a fifth caster or someone who can sling some potions. A Yang. This party is set as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, if you believe Punch Magic to be casting, then yes, we have found our fifth caster.
It's just an instant speed spell with a range of touch. So we've got a Palom, so both of our preeminent black mages whose name isn't Fusoya are present in the seed, and we've got a Yang who is, as you said, a punch mage. It looks like he's doing physical damage, but
who is walked up to this party and said, "What have I found here?"
Look at all these frail casters. I will join in. All right, our runners now running at the same time, finding a fairly free boss up here at the top of Zod in the Officer Soldier fight.
Yep. I did not see the Hourglass 2 pickup, although I see a Gaia Drum as well. Bunches of nice J Adams here. And I think Yang's life goals here at the moment are just to have more hit points than the rest of the entire party combined at this point.
Well, that is kind of what Yang is good at. And honestly, that makes him perfect for a fight centering on reflect strats. You can put your Star Veil on him and bounce your spells off of him without worrying about him getting accidentally killed out from under it by a big bang. Our runners knocking over their Paloms to ensure they don't get any XP from this fight, setting them up later for possible slingshots off the D-Machine grind that we will inevitably be seeing.
What do we find here but a Legend Sword? Sure, why not?
Why not? Half of a Mist Whip, so we can go ahead and hand Palom the Stardust Rod. It's perfect.
Now Tella only gets the Charm Rod as a hand-me-down, but oh darn.
There, we finally get a Baron in check. It is a duplicate Yang and one of the Mylons.
I believe we saw
friends.
Mylon and... Yeah, we did see Mylon Z, didn't we?
Yep,
or did we not? I've been watching a lot of Free Enterprise these days.
They do kind of blend in, but yes, we actually just saw them up in the first fight in Zot. So both our runners heading here right off the bat. This is interesting. Possibly hoping for some additional key items to shorten that grind.
I mean, with Wyvern, we're still on, honestly, just a single key item hunt. If it's either the Adamant or the Adamant or Luca is straight up go mode for both of these runners right now.
Yep, and each of them is 8 at 8 key items. Getting to 10 will just make that grind portion of the run go even faster to help these little children put the entire seed in the microwave. Got the Dark Imps in spot 2, though. They are pretty punchy here. Vulnerable to some things like Stop and Hourglasses.
And Leviathan.
Leviathan. Turns out a lot of things are vulnerable to Leviathan. And there's the hook. So potentially, if our runners weren't happy with their pickup of Yang, they could go look for another character here. If they hadn't already found the Leviathan orb, this would be a spot they could almost certainly pick one up. But don't know if we'll see any dives down there today unless it's just for some treasure.
I mean, do you even pink that pink tail at this point and hope it's, what, a white shirt at this point?
Yeah, I mean, let's get Rosa one of her best body armors. There's not, or else it'll give a crystal sword because we haven't seen a Cecil and he may not be in this seed. Xenocat still poking boss. Boss is looking for that Wyvern. Finds an Ogopogo in Mist Cave. Not too sad to see Ogopogo there. That's a boss you went out of the pool.
Man, a lot of rude bosses these days being stuffed into places we'd rather see them just kind of sit there and rot. Honestly,
Yeah, all Gauntlet of the Waterfall, Ogopogo, and Mist Cave. This is interesting. Xenocat is in fact going down and checking Cave Evelyn. I had assumed that they were going to go turn in the pigtail, but appears they want to go peek at some things down here.
at this case, I'm wondering if Xenocat is in full Fade Ordeals mode, which would be a real shame given where Wyvern is hiding right now. But does seem to be rushing off to check that character, and I really hope that if we get over here and we find like a Cecil or an Edge, I'm really hoping Xenocat does not bin that Tella. If just because at that point we know that Xenocat's strategy may be to just leave that Ordeals alone.
Yeah, that would be kind of a shame, given that it does open up the D-Money and also has a new character. That is a Porum, I believe.
That is indeed a Porum, and unfortunately, another Lunar Sparkle.
Harumph, meanwhile, heading down to Dwarf Castle, one of our objectives, another character check, another couple bosses, and a key item. And our first boss appears to be a dancing karate man. So
Yet another duplicate Yang, I guess. Wink, wink.
Yang showing off all his talents here. Hiding in the back of Dwarf Castle, using it as his personal dance studio.
I would pay good money to see a monk dance studio.
Well, unfortunately, all Yang is going to get to see is this Leviathan.
He's got a few more hit points than that here. I believe Harumph is stacked towards casting still. That's half of his health right there.
Yeah, Rosa berserking herself. I don't think this Yang is going to be long for this world. Xenocat giving up on the Fate Ordeals plan. Now we get to see the Wyvern with Heat Rays again. Oof, Rydia punched out before she can land a second Leviathan on Harumph's side. That's not fun.
Xenocat rolling the dice here, saying, yeah, my Leviathan's big enough to take out the remaining about 2,600 hit points here, roughly.
And does, but not before that Heat Ray puts Palom on the ground. But honestly, that may be what Xenocat wanted. Harumph resetting out of that fight. Going to have to try again. Can't underestimate Yang. He punches a lot harder as a boss than he does as a low-level character.
Yep. Now, mind you, I remember you said something about hitting a siren for an egg at one point. This might be the point where you want to cash that egg in, knowing you might be doing D-Money here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think you still let your Palom sit on the ground because he's such an obvious slingshot target, but the rest of this party might want some HP.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get through this fight. Xenocat making short work of the back attack Odin, even faster than Harumph with the extra characters. Still no Xantetskin around the world. I'm a little sad about that.
One day he will get it away there.
There we go. Harumph putting up some blinks, ensuring that Rydia survives the cast of the Leviathan. That'll probably get through this fight just fine. Even if Tella does have to give his life for the cause here.
I feel like Tella's used to it these days.
Tella is a very experienced floor inspector. If there is a ground in Final Fantasy IV, he has had his face planted on it, I'm sure. Thinking back to the days of ZZ3 when we didn't have Sea Hero, and honestly, dragging around an unconscious Tella or Rydia for the entire seed was just par for the course. So here's another Lunar Sparkle in Wyvern 2. Or not Wyvern 2, Dwarf Castle 2. And
this is D-Lunars or Pale Dim, I believe. One of the two.
I believe that's... Or Plague, apparently.
Plague, apparently.
This is the previous fight actually kind of works out here because with the 2 characters already on the ground, Harumph already has 2 built-in resets essentially for Plague to give them extra time to set up the offensive on him.
Interestingly enough, Harumph did pick up that Palom there. It's gonna look like he's gonna give him XP here.
I would have expected the Tella instead, but maybe planning to knock him back down before the Leviathan goes off.
Apparently, something I missed because chat is talking about finding a White Lance over in Evelyn. Oh, never mind. Rosa has knocked down Palom again. Right in time for Leviathan.
Palom, just kidding. Yeah, if Xenocat has a White Lance, they're definitely going to be happy to see Kane. But I'm assuming they have it. I didn't keep track of what all they kept in between all the resets outside of all the amazing caster gear we saw there.
The only other thing could have been is white arrows, but
possibly a white shirt. But you would have had to have really mislooked at the icon to make that mistake, I think. All right, Harumph for the second objective lit up. Gonna get another key item here, and a crystal ring. You know, not a key item, but very handy for agility manipulation on these.
Not panic time yet because you just hit go mode at 38 minutes here. Again, that's definitely a thing where these super jets sometimes can get like that, and you've got everything you need in the party right now, which is great. But yeah, going straight to the tower, have the key, kind of the obvious next play going on here, where this team should make fairly short work of this tower.
Yep, still just trying to drum up a Luca key or a second half of Forge.
The good news is the good news for us is at least with what they have, those could still be anywhere. We could have a lot of time left in this seed.
Yeah, there's still an entire moon up there that could just have one important key item on it, maybe, or 2.
Yep.
But our runner is determined to clear out the Earth here because there are a lot of key item checks down here, and they're going to be simpler than those moon fights we're not quite ready for yet. And we'll have to see what top of tower and the cannon room give. Meanwhile, on their side, Xenocat cleaning up the Karate Man here. Looks very familiar. A blinked up Rydia and a Palom and a Tella on the ground.
And Leviathan's cleaning up the fight. Yeah, when all you have is a Leviathan as your tool, everything looks waveable.
So Xenocat is going to wave bye-bye to Yang. See that Kane come up and then fight against Plague. I'll be curious to see if Xenocat does take the Kane with the Holy Lance in their inventory.
It does seem like a good pull with that Holy Lancer inventory here, and let's see what happens.
Nope.
Says no, thank you.
Still sends him on his way, but that doesn't mean that they won't take him eventually. He will just head to the Tower of Wishes in the city. It's possible that when it's time to inevitably do a grind, Xenocat, excuse me, I watched too many races today. Go and pick up that Kane and slingshot him to glory.
Now this is a rough set of orbs, honestly, because our only real damage to that big orb here is like any kind of power punches here from Yang and Leviathan, and Leviathan's going to wipe out both of those small orbs every time it's casted, honestly. So we're going to be seeing quite a lot of Globe 199s, as I believe that CPU has roughly ballpark about 18,000 hit points in this location.
Yeah,
I did not see the remedy.
Yeah, I think at this point you call the Leviathans, you punch it to chip in a little damage, and you just take what comes. Because as long as you're fast enough, maybe you punch the remedy orb out between, but yeah, Leviathan is the major source of offense here.
Unfortunately, that happens, and if Rydia goes down, that remedy comes up. Okay, just 15,780 here, so a little less than I just projected, but... The issue is if 2 of those remedies go off, it doesn't completely invalidate a Leviathan cast, but it's kind of close, honestly.
Yeah, it means that this fight will take a while because we'll be looking at killing it about 1,500 damage at a time and having to revive twice and heal up between each one. I can't imagine that harumph will go with that strategy.
I mean, probably a little bit less should. That was 6,000 on that Leviathan. That was actually really nice. Just really hoping Iridia does not eat one of the globes here.
Yeah, yes, you want those to go onto your Tella or your Palom. Your characters start contributing anyway. Rose is okay as an alternative, I guess, but now you get more Leviathan uptime. Smart waits just a second for those orbs to come back and be targetable so that the Leviathan can knock them back down. Meanwhile, Xenocat heading up the tower as well, going to make the same kind of checks right on Harumph's tail.
Now, this is an interesting little orb grind going on here as well, and I guess with Harumph, the big thing is, do you really want your Palom to be standing? I mean, I'm pretty sure, assuming everything goes well, that next Leviathan should do it.
Yeah, okay, it looks like he's down, so launching Leviathan now that they can target the orbs again. Maybe just hoping to time it so that the Palom is not up.
Seems to agree with me that this should be the last Leviathan to do it, and we're just really hoping it doesn't low roll here.
And it didn't. Harumph is through. Nice. A little bit messy, but sometimes that's what you have to do when your only source of when your biggest source of damage is an AoE spell. Gets a Sand Ruby, so again, more character checks if you really want them.
Yeah, 78,000 XP for all those extra orbs, and this spot normally gives, I believe, like 26,000 around there, so nearly triple the normal XP there.
Yep, and as chat pointed out, importantly, that puts Harumph over the 10 key item limits. So now his character will be gaining additional experience, and now seems like a great time to go do a grind if the cannon room doesn't turn up another objective to do first.
I definitely agree with that. It is definitely time to head off to run that D money here with 10 key items and just get it over with. So that we don't have to worry about keeping certain members of the party down and slowing us down here. Just real ultimate power at that point.
Yep, and good news for people who are not maybe fans of grinds, I guess is what we'll say, is with 10 key items and a slingshot, it'll be over before you know it. But first, a Dark Elf in the cannon room. This will blink and you'll miss it, I'm guessing.
Unfortunately, he takes 2 actions to deal with, because no matter how much damage you do to his first one, he has to get his me change out of the way, and unfortunately, he's going to flip into his other form, lose his boss bit, and say he made terrible life decisions doing this.
Yeah, I don't know how he ended up here in the cannon room, because frankly, Dark Elf sounds like a pirate complaining about a hole in his pocket. Yar, me change! And now 2 key items out of here, and we'll see what happens next. I'm assuming we're off to the Giant of Babel, but I've been wrong before.
I'm assuming, and I would assume even more if one of those go mode items pops up there. Just immediate sling, go turn in whichever of those objectives you do find, be it Luca Key or the forge there. I mean, if it's Forge, just do that. Go take your grind. Go knock over K Bahamut real quick, and I mean that's wonderful routing there.
Yeah, at that point, if you don't turn up one of the remaining key items you need here, then you're looking at it being on the moon. And if you're going to be on the moon anyway, you want the real ultimate power just to make it as quick as possible.
I mean, we're going to the moon regardless, because unless this is exactly the Baron key or the Twin Harp or the Luca key, but the Luca key is an objective, we're out of blue planet checks.
All right, Harumph falling onto the airship, being rewarded with a samurai shield. Not the key item you wanted, I'm guessing.
No, that's it's a very shiny samurai shield. Don't get me wrong, but
at this point, the only thing this party can use it for is a sled.
and Harumph is going to take a flyer here on this. At this point, I'm guessing he's maybe looking for a possible Cecil because Cecil is also extremely slingshotable.
Unfortunately, just finds yet another Tella. Oh, so we've seen a duplicate Tella, a duplicate Yang. Yep, Harumph possibly setting up to go get some power. Xenocat on their side, taking care of the Dark Elf, making quick work of him and his change.
I do know both of them have, or at least I did see one of them at least pre-buy some Ether 2s, and I believe they were in Troya here. I mean, even Ether 1s at this point. And actually that Sylph pickup's pretty actually huge there because that's real great for a D-Machine grind, if just because of the fact that you're going to be taking those fires there. And that is fairly quick to cast, a little bit less on the animation, but also gets you. And Harumph's going back here. Who have we left behind? Is Harumph going for that Cane?
Yep, we're taking Kane over Yang. We're telling Yang to go stand around, and we're gonna take Kane with us. So, assuming Harumph intends to slingshot this Kane now, and is throwing away some of his less useful gear in the meantime.
What kind of weapons do we have for that Cane?
That is a very good question because Harumph has faded Eblan Castle as far as I know, and so does not have a Holy Lance. Dathis, our restreamer, saying that Harumph has a Gungnir.
I mean, if that's a Gungnir, sure, why not? If just because this is the first time I think I've actually seen a slingshot Cane, and I am here for that.
Yeah, why not? With the amount of power he's got to get off this, a Gungnir's not terrible. Probably his third or fourth. Probably his about fourth or fifth best weapon, maybe.
Let's see. Behind a defense sword, behind a Dragoon Lance, behind an Avenger, and I mean,
the White Spear probably.
And the White Spear. And I guess, if we want to count those Super Smith weapons too, but
I don't think we count the wonders that are the Piggy Stick and Abel's Lance, unfortunately, since they were never going to be in this seed to begin with.
True.
Yep, Harumph heading into the Giant, going to set up a D-Machine grind there. Looks like Xenocat right on their tail, heading up to Xenocat, also heading up to the tower, wishes to do some party rearrangement here.
Xenocat, I definitely understand it a lot more here, given that I believe at least that White Spear is still there. Picking up that Cane, both of them saying no thanks, Yang. We'll talk to you later if we need you.
See, I would be tempted to keep that Ice Brand just in case the Cape Holland boss is a Rubicon.
Yeah, and actually we do know that because we have peeked there, and it is Rubicon. And did we not see Elements earlier?
Did we? I know we've seen both the Mylons.
Oh, maybe we did not. Maybe I was just looking at Mylon Z there, but yeah.
Xenocat making a dive down to Tamra. I'm guessing this is where we saw the Ethers at earlier then. Yep, there we go. So everybody's setting up, and pretty soon we're going to have cabins and tier 2s.
Harumph's Cane has a dancing dagger.
you love to see it? Question mark.
I mean, I think there was a fire sword there too, but that might be a thing for D-Machines here.
Yeah, that's maybe ensuring that Kane can damage the D-Machines without doing too much damage to the Searcher in the process, although these random enemies that we're trying to run from are doing their best to make sure Kane never sees the fight. Yeah, the random enemies who aren't the D-Machine fight today apparently offended that everyone just runs away from them and never stops to fight anymore.
I mean, they're wondering why all these underlevel parties are running into this giant here, and unfortunately, they're also being forced to work overtime building all these clockwork dragons here.
So our party is really just here. You would think they would do something about these labor conditions of the giant, but here we are. Interesting contrast. Harumph doing the manipulation to try and find the D machine fight on the giant. Xenocat working on the one from ZZ3 to attempt to get onto the correct RNG seed while off the giant. It's just an interesting contrast. Do you have a preference if you're doing these?
If I am doing these, I would actually have to do a little bit more. I went out early in ZZ3, so I didn't get to really mess with the overworld manipulation to start that up there. So, yeah, I mean, to be completely frank, I'm tired of D machines.
Yeah, there have been a lot of clockwork dragons killed here on this on these channels, and probably more to come as we work through the rest of the brackets. Looks like Harumph has found his fight, although it is a back attack. Tella weakening a cannon and then Rydia bonking it to death with a rod. You do not see that every day.
Sure, why not? I mean, it's probably a Stardust rod at least. I mean, it's not just like a rod.
Yeah, it was some kind of attractive pink rod. I'm going to assume that's the Stardust rod. I don't think I've ever seen its melee graphic.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a Stardust rod.
Alright, now the grind begins in earnest. People who have not seen this before, basically every time you bop that searcher for any one or more point of damage, it will summon a D machine or clockwork dragon. Tella casts weak on it to knock it down to a single digit hit point. Somebody else kills it, and then we just repeat the process over and over. At the end of the fight, all the XP from all those killed D machines adds up. And in this case, it will get doubled, I believe, because we have 10 key items. And
yes.
Anyone who is 5 or more levels below the median level of the party, which on Harumph's side and Xenocat's side will be Palom and Kane, we'll be picking up. We'll be getting another XP boost on top of that, the Slingshot. So we won't have to be here for very long, and these characters will be attaining a lot of power. I'm guessing the bigger obstacle is maybe how many you have to defeat to get Rydia to nuke.
Yep. Wow. That's yeah. Kane swung a little fast here, and actually, I kind of like this here in the sense that Rose is actually putting a blink on that Tella for insurance. So just in case there are any unfortunates with maybe throwing a attack too early, it will not knock out Tella and put us into a position that you don't really want to be.
Yeah, we have seen, even in the tournament, we have seen some D Machine grinds go horribly sideways when Tella gets knocked over and then the D Machine is sitting out there free to spam its flame attack on a party that is almost certainly woefully underleveled for him. And just ensuring that Tella, if nothing else, survives that physical counterattack that the dragon can do is just a really smart move. Here we get the dueling mirror D Machine grind. You love to see it if you have to see it. Harumph's self-summon, as you pointed out, doing double duty here. In addition to knocking off those last few hit points on the D Machine, it brings this party, minus Rosa and her 1,000 hit points, back to full health between each one.
And yeah, the other big thing here is, unlike previous tournaments where we did see a lot of D Machine grinds, it does take a little bit longer than the others here because the life glitch, which we have as a community have leaned on for a long time here, is unfortunately off here. So you're not going to see our runners flinging life potions at these D Machines to get multiple copies of these D Machines per one killed here.
Yep, it's a strictly 1-to-1 D Machine ratio. Maybe a little easier to count, but maybe takes a little longer to do. Well, while we're watching our runners build XP to sling their parties into the end game, I do want to just give a shout out to both these runners, Xenocat and harumph. They are fantastic streamers, even when they're not doing tournament races, and you should give them both a follow. As well as our tracker, Jofus, our 3-streamer tonight, Dapus, and my co-commentator, Nightdew.
Thank you very much.
Ooh, HP total's getting a little scary over on harumph's side. Over on Xenocat's side, it looks like King is taking a little nap until we get done.
Of all the times you don't want to see that brave face.
Oh, sorry, that's not what we wanted.
Hi, Fallon, how are you?
Oh yeah, Scala Kitty pointing out in chat, Xenocat is our harp composer right now, and frequently streams converting songs to the harp tool that we use in game, and that when our runners aren't actively fading Cave Magnus, you get to hear. There are a lot more harp songs now, and they just put in a ton of work, and we really appreciate everything they do for the community. I will say I have watched several of those harp streams, and it's extremely fascinating to watch a song go from the song to translating it into the tool that we hear in game to playing Cave Magnus. Just a lot of variety now. It's really wonderful.
Something I really will have to check out sometime. I admit sometime I'm a little bit out of the loop here. We'll blame a Final Fantasy made 10 Final Fantasies later for that, though.
Oh, or do you mean award-winning MMO Final Fantasy XIV, available to play for free now, including the award-winning expansion Heavensward with no limitations on playtime?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that is the difficulty, as Antidale is pointing out. You do have to be able to make a character and log in. It is extremely popular right now, to the point where it can be difficult just to get onto the servers. But having just resubscribed myself, I can attest that it is a fun time, and probably one of the major things that takes me away from free enterprise sometimes. And a live letter coming today for fans of that game.
Oh yeah, that's it's going to be interesting here, but yeah, we get a little bit there, and we have a community of a few of those players here, as we are just kind of chewing through more D machines here, because hey, why not?
Why not? As I said, this XP's got to come from somewhere, and it was starting with the Darkness Crystal. It was almost certainly either this or Mac Giants, and then they handed us Atella right off the bat.
So I actually have a question here, and it might come to be a thing with how congested everything is in there while we're still doing D machines here. Were you playing at the onset of on the onset of Stormblood?
This is going to be a question about Raban EX.
This is absolutely a question about Raban EX.
I was not. So I played from 1.0 up until almost the launch of Heavensward, and then took a break from the game and came back midway through Stormblood. So I missed I missed the days of Raban EX.
I went on day 2, and I was one of those people who got lucky enough to I do silly in the morning hours sometimes, and I got in fairly easily, but it was definitely it definitely lived up to the hype.
So you didn't have to. You weren't one of these people that we've seen screenshots of standing in an orderly line to begin the solo instance to get into the expansion. Then.
Absolutely, yeah. No, just walked right up and said, "Hey, I'll slip you a little bit of gil later. Let's just do this thing right now, right?"
See, the biggest cluster I got was I was present for the return to Evilise raids, and there is an open world fight against a red chocobo. And everyone had to do the open world fight against the red chocobo, and so it was just a complete mess of meteors for a while.
It's as if all your name days have come at once. And yes, chat can hear me. Hello. I had to jump in for 14, chat.
I think we're gonna have to put the kibosh on it, as Harumph says done, and that was a million XP before the slingshot. This Palom and this Kain are going to the stratosphere.
That was 22 levels just on Rosa, who already had some levels, and even Rydia. That is the amount of XP Rydia needs to get nuke from level 1. So I'm very excited to see what the final levels are going to be here.
Yeah, never gained a 54 level, or was it 44 or 54 levels? Either way, that Palom is that's 64 Palom there, which is just high. Oh,
an Hourglass 3 and a soft. Thanks, D-Machines.
Yep.
That is a 52 Rydia, a 64 Palom.
A 63 Kain. Tell me we found a weapon for him somewhere. I mean, to be fair, we're not in go mode yet. So there is still time on the clock to get Kain a weapon here to take advantage of being at level 63.
And Xenocat now also finishing up their grind now, so everybody's out of the giant at the same time. We'll quit talking about MMOs, and now we'll talk about the game that's in front of us. I suspect our runners are on their way to blow up the moon, because that's the option before them right now.
that is the only option before them, and hey, I'm probably just going to with this real ultimate power, and I did not see the number on the Xenocat's side, but I am seeing a similar amount of levels come by, so both of these teams are well equipped to
There's a 62 for both Palom and Kain, and some high number on Rydia. 51.
That would be commonly known as enough.
More than enough. The real ultimate power attained. Our runners now on their way to pretty much destroy anything that gets in their way. Gonna put this seed in the microwave. Gonna wander down here and find out if this is a whole leg or a quarter leg.
Whole leg or a quarter leg, but a microwavable leg.
Which is, you shouldn't be microwaving legs, but I guess they got to do what they got to do. Harumph handing around all his mage gear, sorcerer rods and charm rods and stardust rods and everything here.
We just want what everybody wants, for these nukes to casually just keep hitting the damage cap every time.
We love quad 9s here. Even Rydia can, or even Rosa could chip in, having picked up white for both teams, and also Kain is here.
Kain is wondering what went wrong in his life plans there, because he is in a party full of casters, still holding a dancing dagger, saying, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?"
Standing around like, "I'm a magician," but his only spell is knives. Yeah,
I think I was making a good point. Did Harumph heal?
Harumph did not heal. That I didn't see everybody else, but Kain has 38 HP. Yeah, this might have been a mistake. We have a quarter leg though, so maybe in the end we could. Palom having 0 HP is 0 MP is a much bigger problem.
Oh, that's right. There was a little Throt used got to the end of that fight.
There we go. Seeing that could be a turning point here, because now Xenocat is getting into this fight a little sooner, and did use the facilities on the whale to heal up. Xenocat going to put a Starveil on Kain, going to bounce spells off of Kain to keep this fight from transitioning out of its punchy but otherwise not super worrying Mylon Z form, and skip the second half entirely.
Pelham takes 1400 says, eh.
It's not often you see Pelham just casually shrugging off melee attacks from the boss in the Cave Bahamut spot. Only doing 280 to Tella there. Interesting.
That's a good question. What does he have? Okay, so Kane actually on Xenocat, and could be the big thing here. Unlike Harumph, who didn't seem to have much, that Kane does have that White Lance.
Yep, and that Elements went down in a real hurry. Oh, now he has a Drain Spear if he needs that.
I mean, it's better than a Dancing Dagger?
Arguably, yeah, I guess. So this fight will be an upgrade for Harumph at the end.
I mean, at these levels, your accuracy doesn't suffer nearly as much, right? I mean, that Kane has 4,000 hit points.
Yeah, he's not going to want for health, and he's probably going to hand out potions during the fight. During the Zemus fight later. But for now, it's time to go see what else is on this moon. Because Cave Bahamut is an objective, but it doesn't give a key item, and we're still looking for either the Luca key or the other half of Adamant, or something else that can give us some forward progression on either objectives 3 or 4.
Okay, so it's an hour 8 into the seed. You are... I don't know if you're feeling behind at this point, but you gotta figure your opponent is pretty much on your heels at this point. Do you gamble with the Pale Dim spot, or are you saying, no, we're just doing the tried and true, walking down to LST7 and taking that ribbon room?
I would start at the Pale Dim spot and burn my way down. I fear nothing on this moon. I start at the top and work my way down. And when I find one of the key items I need, I am out.
Xenocat seems to agree with your assessment and is walking straight toward that Mirasame altar. Let's see if Harumph follows.
We found our D Lunars, a moon boss on the moon, unprecedented. Yep, Harumph also heading to the vanilla Pale Dim spot. It is Pale Dim, yes. And going to fight some dragons.
It was just queuing up some nukes here. A Spread Fire 3 might be interesting here, and that's probably what Tella's revving up here, but hey, look, quad 9s, and Kane with just a little bit of additional there.
Just a light tap from Kane. Not going to be a Spread Fire 3 anymore, I guess.
Now, I was wondering if it might just use Rosa to just drop a Cure 4 on the D-Lunars, but that one's going to the party here.
Yeah, gotta keep them healthy. There's Fire 3. Even Tella chipping in 4,700 damage. We're so proud of you, Tella. He didn't crack 1,200 HP, but he can still chip.
I mean, to be fair, anything over 1,000 HP is a pretty good day for Tella.
Yeah, and considering, again, the D-Lunars are only smacking him for 14 damage. What does that Tella have equipped?
I believe it was a Sorcerer Robe, Wizard Hat, and Charm Rod.
That'll do it.
And the Money Armor.
Yep, there's some money you don't need for items you're not going to bother going back for.
I mean, to be fair, with Paladin Cecil being a really good cover tank, I'm not fast to sell off the Crystal Armor immediately, because that does put him in a pretty good position to straight up just tank hits back there, but...
Oh yeah, if this was a different seed and we had that early Cecil to stand in the back and cover these squishy mages, yeah, put the Crystal Armor on him, it's fine. But,
that goes out the window as soon as, Excalibur Crystal Sword are mentioned, but,
Yeah, but unfortunately right now Cecil is Sir not appearing in this seed, and we're continuing down the lunar subterranean after both our runners have nuked their D-Lunars into oblivion.
It is rather interesting that we have only found a grand total of 2 technical melee fighters, and Rosa is a ranged DPS, let's be real here.
Yeah, we have a Yang and a Kane. We don't know who's behind that package. It could have been another one. We know there was a Porum in Cave Evelyn. After that, I guess we're looking at whoever's on the Giant and whoever's in Baron.
I mean, that's a good thing. We could find rabbit holes up here with again with 2 required key items. One of them being Luca Key. Here's your next question. You find the Luca Key that gives you your go mode through that sealed cave, and you've still got a boss check or two left. Do you think you can hunt down that adamant, or do you dive it immediately?
I think I would go ahead and take the additional bosses, and I would tell you, in addition to the adamant, I would also be searching for the pass, because if you can turn up the Luca Key and the pass, then you can go back, clear Luca Cave, and then take the pass to Zemus and not have to come back to the moon.
True, because we are headed back to the blue planet either way, either to forge or to take that position there. Anyway, White Spirit Altar, just some guards here. We've got an hourglass. Never mind. This fight's free.
Yep, these are these aren't even a thing anymore. Honestly, you could probably just have Tella throw a stone from that center slot instead of a weak and be out of here even faster. Meanwhile, on Harumph's side, we have the Calbrena. Didn't see which altar we're at, but these are very easy to take care of with a couple black mages in the party. Besides the ream of AoE spells, if you think they're going to turn into a Calbrena, you can turn the ones in the back into a toad.
I'm guessing Ribbon Room, but I was not watching as I was paying attention to the guards fight there. Here comes a Quake.
Thank you, chat, saying they are in the Ribbon Room. Thank you, Zemus. How often you get to say thank you, Zemus?
Unfortunately, that Quake from Rydia didn't get it completely done. We still have one doll left up. Does Tella finish off with this virus?
Ooh.
He sure does.
Thank you, Tella. Clutch. Over in the other altar, we saw that the only reward was a rune axe, but this one pays out in spades with the Luca Key and the rat tail.
Okay, so there's our go mode. There's another check on the blue planet that's pretty free, and Harumph says, yep, I'm gone.
Yep, Harumph is out of here. With 2 tails to turn in now, I would possibly even consider doing the tails, just on the off chance that the rat tail turns into the adamant and saves you even a little more time.
Yeah, adamant or the pass would be a major time save there with, I believe the only ones we didn't see right now are the Crystal Sword altar and the Ogopogo altar there. So I'm pretty sure I think there's only one more Zonk left there, so yeah, I could definitely see turning in some tails, and yeah, Harumph is going back for the Enterprise to pick up that hook, so I believe Harumph is sharing your idea here of, yeah, let's go turn in those tails and see if we get lucky.
Yep, Xenocat also on their way out, so I don't think we're going to get to see those 2 altars today.
No, not at all.
Harumph is Harumph is just going to head straight for Luca Cave. No tails, we're just going. Xenocat, meanwhile,
will
there we go.
Follow.
Xenocat trying to figure out where they left the Enterprise. Look, when you've got this many flying ships, it can be hard to keep track of them. I get it.
Let's see if Xenocat follows straight up. Does pass the hold of the underground. Is going to pick up that hovercraft. So this is some interesting divergence here.
Yeah, depending on what these tails give, this could be a huge time difference here. And there's the adamant. So Xenocat can actually turn in Forge and then fly right back to the moon and start their Zemus fight earlier.
Oh, huge adamant there. So Xenocat's Harumph isn't completely out of this, but Xenocat does pick up. Oh, hi, a Bahamut Orb.
So our runners could have had Bahamut earlier, I guess. That's a good fact to know.
Yeah, they definitely could have had Bahamut, although I don't think it would have mattered too much. Might have done some of that there. Yeah, Harumph really wants this pass to keep things a little bit close there. And I was about to say, Xenocat is going to see the...
And there's the pass in Luca Cave. We have a race.
Oh my, here. Okay, so I know there's exactly one boss, who I will not name in commentary curse, that Harumph does not want to see here.
It's okay, just a Mom Bomb.
It's just Mom Bomb. It is not ha ha ha. It is not Golbez.
Yeah, no Golbez's, no Valvalis, nothing rude here. Just a Mom Bomb with a boatload of HP. And Hallam's first nuke essentially took off all the bonus HP she gets. So
Yep.
this fight will be nothing.
Hey, I hear
Xenocat's
Crystal Ring's pretty good.
Yeah, they're all right. On Xenocat's side, has forged, got the Mist Whip from Kakal for their Iridia, and is not even going to bother to check the shop. They are out of here.
Yep, actually did pick up one crystal ring out of there. But one thing there is despite everything here, as we see both of them picking up their crystal here, Xenocat does need to make the moon run. Harumph needs to walk out of Sealed Cave. But the other big thing here is that D-Lunar spot was hard required.
That is wild. And this, yeah, because it was gating both the adamant and the Luca key. Huh. Gemini 2102, the pass was at the end of Sealed Cave. So the reward for doing one of the objectives is a faster way to the moon. Yep, so we've got Xenocat hurling themselves down the lunar subterranean as fast as they can. We've got Harumph warping back out of Sealed Cave, gonna get on their airship and fly over to Teroya. And these two are still they've been neck and neck this whole race, and it is not changing here at the end, even with that divergence.
It is extremely interesting. You don't see many seeds here where you see both of them walking up to Zeromus at fairly almost the same time with different objectives lit for that crystal.
Yeah, this has been a very exciting seed, and it looks like that's going to continue to the end. Dathus rolled us a real good one here.
Yeah, and actually chat's saying Harumph might be in a slight lead with that pass here. Gonna walk in, might have a little bit of menu time, but yeah, that is a little bit of a long moonwalk here. Gonna move down to battle speed 4 here. Gonna do a last minute equipment check if I had to guess here. Putting Nuke back where it was after putting it for warp here. Xenocat, I don't think equipped that crystal ring or that mist whip. May not care honestly at this time. May just be in a go 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 mood here. And who can? Nope, there goes the crystal ring that Harumph bought there. Oh, not bought, just found. What's the crystal ring?
It was a reward for one of the objectives that we saw.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Tower maybe.
Yep. Anyway, here comes the pass as Xenocat is walking into LST7. Take the swag walk, Xenocat. You don't need a save. Oh, no, take the swag walk.
Yeah, Xenocat does absolutely need to save here, though, because if they wipe, they have a longer walk back.
Unfortunately, fighting that inventory boss a little bit here. Is putting crystal rings on all the important people here. Could be a thing. And Harumph is walking up to the Zeromus fight. Xenocat goes full on battle speed 6 here.
Wow, that could end up making all the difference. Although it looks like our chat is waving a bunch of Z flags. Do you know what that's about?
I believe it is if Zeromus has a booty or something like that. I can never remember this part here. And that we are going to apply a large boot to it, or in this case, the full force of about 3 microwaves. But
yeah, this is going to be a real blink and you miss it Zeromus fight as well, because we're going to use the crystal. He's going to turn into one of his 525 plus different forms provided by our wonderful art director Scala Kitty, and then we're going to toast that butt until it's crispy.
And it does look like Harumph is setting up a turn order here. And Crystal is being used, at least, the Starbale on Kane there. Crystal is being used at 1 hour, 21 minutes on the dot.
Ooh, spooky. Showdown. Yeah, Butt is cute.
But has a lot of wires and... But anyway, here comes Nukes. The first one from Harumph misses here. Again, I did note harumph went to battle speed 4. Xenocat went straight to battle speed 6. So harumph does have the slightly faster battle speed, actually, as up going for a little bit of mid-battle or opening battle equipment swaps here, as the damage does start to come out. And the crystal is used on Xenocat's side roughly about a minute later than harumph's here. A little bit more, actually, with that Jeroma shake there.
It'll be interesting to see if Kane's contribution matters at all. The turn order is slightly different on Xenocat's side, with Kane throwing the crystal. Harumph's Kane took a swing on his side for a whopping 675 damage, still wielding that dancing dagger.
That was a spicy counter nuke that Rose just took. Almost 3,000 hit points, and she's actually in danger of dying to a nerf Big Bang here, even.
Hopefully somebody with a healing spell or a potion will get a chance to pick her up, but it may be that harumph is just operating on the assumption he won't need healing. He may not be planning to see a second Big Bang. Xenocat now into it as well. They are bouncing nukes off their Palom. The first one misses. I believe Rydia might even be casting a white. And a slow bouncing off from Tella.
And of note, just looking over on harumph's there, he did take a swing with that Kane, a dancing dagger for the back row for 891 damage. Good job, Kane. You're helping.
Meanwhile, on Xenocat's side, they may be memeing on us because this Kane is about to cast a Holy off of his White Lance and bounce it off of Palom.
I mean, I am here for this. That is definitely a thing that can and should happen, honestly.
Oh, Kane from the After Years is here, everybody, where he's a Holy Dragon. Harumph's side, it looks like Rosa did manage to survive that Big Bang with 121 hit points. Whew.
Which is 120 more than you technically need, so hey, that's nice. But Tella also going to show off the best part about Cure 4. No matter what your magic power is, no matter anything, if you single target that thing, whoever it's going to get dropped on is at full hit points again.
Alright, so we are with just spells going every which way. It's hard to even tell which one to look at. Oh, there's the, as soon as I talk, there's the crack on harumph's side.
Down goes Shodan Must here, and that is a winner of harumph, which an official time of 124.23. And I think that's the initial Big Bang coming out on Xenocat's side. So this is an extremely close race, as I do see two casters chanting and throwing out their large spells here. So yeah, this was an intensely close race and an absolute blast to commentate. And yeah, this fight actually should be down. Yeah, we're gonna get another White Lance White here, so it'd be wonderful if they finished out this
Yes.
White Spear.
Yes, please let King killing blow.
Not to be, unfortunately.
Well, with all these heavy hitters around, you know, what can Kane do? Well, we'll have to see if we can get our competitors in shortly for a couple interviews.
Yep, and I believe we are joined by harumph here, and GG. Very well done race there, very close here. As we're watching your opponent here probably take the last few nukes to Shodan us here, but how you feeling about that one?
That was a close one. It was fortunate, I think. It was fortunate here to take the win here. I felt I was behind. After finding the Luke Key and the Rat Tail, figured here I was probably a little behind at that point. Thought about gambling for the on the Rat Tail, but since I hadn't brought up the hovercraft yet here, I was just going to add more time to that. So I'll take the sure thing, and was lucky to find a pass at the Seal Cave. So
yeah, yep. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, once I found the pass, I figured I've got a chance again. If my opponent went the other way, went with Forge.
Yeah, that pass absolutely swung things back into your favor. It was you two were neck and neck for almost the entire seed, maybe trading back like second or two leads here and there, and then Xenocat went to pick up the rat tail turn in and found the adamant, and at that point it seemed like it was firmly on their side, and then you found that pass at the end of Luca Cave not long after.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I figured here the pathing was probably going to be fairly similar here, given how the seed laid out here. We're probably going to both clear out clear out here all the Earth objectives that we could here before going to the moon.
Yeah, I think outside of some different timing on ordeals, we were watching a lot of the same things happen in very close proximity.
Yep, and real quick, I will welcome Xenocat here with an official time of 1:26:22. So 1 minute and 59 seconds was all it took between these two runners. So a big GG to you as well.
Yeah, GG's harumph.
Yeah, GG Xenocat here. That was I think the next race and game 3, if it comes to that here, is going to be close as well here.
Yeah.
I like this matchup here. This is a very
yeah.
I think we both have a shot here to make it to the next round. So it's a good test for both of us, I think.
Yeah, you two started out, and to be fair, it was a race that was kind of defined by divergence into convergence more than a few times. Both of you went straight to the moon. Then one went to Watery Pass, one went to Eblin, back to Hobbs. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but it was there were only like minor divergences until you two joined back up. And again, as Stoppable before said, you two are neck and neck for most of it here, and yeah, it may have come down. And I actually thought when Xenocat came down and went for that and got that adamant off of the rat tail, I'm thinking, oh, here we go now. And yeah, that pass was absolutely kind of huge there. But I mean, again, that one room, go mode for both of you, hard required, and an absolute wonderful race to watch.
Yeah, goodness, my thoughts going for that rat tail was like, I could get a pass here, which would be nice, just to speed me up on my way back. I could get the adamant here, which would mean I don't have to do sealed cave. The only way this bites me is if I get the adamant and passes in sealed cave, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. At my stage here, I'm not sure if you had brought the hovercraft up here, but I already thought I was feeling behind here, so bring up the hovercraft here, cutscene, drag over there, and if I don't get paid off with the adamants, I'm further behind that point here, which is why I went for the sealed cave and expecting to walk back down.
Yeah, I had the good fortune of having raised the hovercraft early when I checked waterfall, because I like to check the waterfall boss and raise the hovercraft early just in case it's a hook route, or I'll end up wanting to turn in the rat tail, which is what happened this seed. A little annoyed I didn't turn in the pink tail earlier once I saw what it was, but oh well.
Yeah, the only consolation is that neither of you had that Bahamut for the entire seed.
Yeah, it would have been real great if I had actually turned that in, but I was figuring I have a mage party. The only things that would be helpful to me are Bahamut or maybe a white shirt. I don't care about any of the big holy swords. I don't care about an Avenger. I don't care about any sort of Hanzo steel. The pigtail's not likely to be value. It's an extra detour. I'm not going to do it early. And this was the wrong seed for that.
Yeah, the Leviathan isn't that much of a downgrade, though.
Yeah. Speaking of that mage party, again, going down to it, you both found that Rosa fairly early and left Baron in on the table for the longest time. And actually, we were kind of worried this Xenocat, I believe, was a little late going to Mountain Ordeals, and almost like when we saw that was in Zod even before that, I'm like, yeah, actually did go check that hook character, that Porum there, and we're like, if this is big, do you we were like, don't bend this Tella. You need this Tella. You need to go to Ordeals because Wyvern's up there. But yeah,
Ordeals was always the plan. It was just never urgent. I was more focused on building the party that I wanted to get going than getting Tella online all the way. So when I saw Porum, I was like, well, I know I have to keep Tella because this is clearly going to be a mage party with a D machine. I guess I don't need Porum. It'd be nice to slingshot someone else, but nah. Ended up slingshotting Kane to not amazing effect, but oh well.
He did get to throw around those holy spells there at the end,
Yeah.
so that's something.
Well, I figure if those holy spells cost me the race, whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna have fun.
And fun is what we always want to have here. Actually, both of you did. I'm sure you may have talked this over. Yeah, both of you actually did go back to Mysidia and dropped off Yong for that Kane there.
Yeah,
I ditched Kane originally because I didn't think I had anything for him, and then I was like, wait a minute, I have a white spear in my inventory. I want Kane now.
I didn't have the white spear here, but I figured I wasn't sure here if a non-slingshotted Yong here would get as high of an HP as Kane would slingshot. Because I figured my plan was to just use Kane as an HP sink, and the thing that the reflects, and the person here who gets the spells bounced off.
Yeah, that makes sense. See, I also slingshotted my Palom up to like 2,500 hit points, so I just had him be the person with the veil, because it doesn't matter at that point.
I was also a little worried here that my slingshot here was overkill here because I miscounted my key items. I thought I had 9 key items, so I went going in with a slingshot thinking,
Ooh.
all right, I 12 and slingshot, and I did 12 here, and I see I've got a million HP at the end of the fight. Going, oh no.
Oh, I mean, I did 12 as well, but that's because I wanted Rydia to have nuke, and I wasn't gonna slingshot her.
Yeah, I think when it was all said and done, I believe Harumph killed enough D machines that he would have gotten a level 1 Rydia to nuke.
Yeah. I stopped just one short because I knew Rydia had some experience, so. But it was still plenty for nuke. And then she kept getting levels. Because then it was diving in the moon with 10 key items, which, great grind.
Yeah.
Yep, I hear that there, and so real quick here, do we have a ETA on your game 2 here yet?
It's tomorrow, same time.
Okay, same time tomorrow then. And then real quick, any other things either one of you want to say about the seed?
Can we not get Tella and Darkness start next time, please?
I agree.
I want to do something like where the answer isn't D machine as soon as possible or D machine as soon as you get 10 key items.
As long as the objectives don't require trip to Cave Magnus, I'm good.
That was an interesting naming scheme, by the way. We're like, well, we're just really hoping that isn't required harp because here we go. But yeah, it's definitely a thing when you just see that Tell of that Darkness crystal and you're like, well, sigh, let's do this.
That reminded me. Did anyone figure out what my naming scheme was from?
Valkyrie profile?
No.
No?
No, they're all really obscure characters in Xenogears.
See, one of them also. See, I was trying to do some searching, and your Cecil's name turns up a character with that exact name from Valkyrie profile too.
Oh no, it's an NPC that gets like one line of dialogue in Xenogears, and there's a couple other dialogues that mention him.
See, I should not have second guessed myself when we were on the title screen. I said, "Well, it's Xenocat. It's probably something from Xenogears, but I don't know any of these characters."
That's because you haven't played the game.
Not in many years.
I've totally. You had me fooled, and I played it a few times. So
yeah, I mean, none of them are memorable characters.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that is going to be it for these two so far. Again, thank you for an absolutely wonderful race. Again, we'll see you two back here or in another stream or wherever here, same time tomorrow. But for, again, all of you right now who want even more free enterprise, I do believe we are going to be raiding Randomania 2 here, which I believe is Saradin versus Mike 34 Game 2. Again, a real quick shout out to Stoppable Force, my co-commentator, Dathis for the restream, Joe Smanoff, I hope I got that name right, for the tracking there, and just a real quick shout out to everybody who makes free enterprise possible here. Anything else, Stoppable Force?
No, that about covers it. Congrats to both our competitors. Looking forward to seeing how you guys do tomorrow, and give them a follow as well. They're both fantastic, and looking forward to more nail biters like this.
Yep. One last thing, no spoilers, and have fun, everybody.